Good day, beautiful souls. Time to feed your prediction addiction. I hope you're having a great day as we step directly into the month of July as of today. The most intense month of 2025, friends, has now arrived. So sit back, friends. Sit back and get ready to watch the show play out on the world stage. Lots of shows, actually, that are about to play out on the world stage. Speaking of the world stage, the United States seems to be going backward. Or maybe we're going forward into this fascist, totalitarian utopia. A utopia that seems to be for the millionaires, billionaires club and all their little friends in politics. The big, beautiful bill. That seems to be only beautiful for those that benefit from it. It's kind of crazy, some of the things that are in this bill, friends. Going in the direction that the puppeteers want us to go in. That's where it's going. Did you? But it hasn't been approved yet, so we hold in the light that it does not. Did you know that within that proposed bill was the selling off of millions of acres, like something like 2.3 million acres of U.S. lands for development to build housing? Wouldn't it make more sense? I mean, think about this, friends. Wouldn't it make more sense to fix all the broken down land and buildings instead of raiding the homes of all the little animals and wildlife? There's so much that can be redone. Instead of starting all new and fresh, knock it down and start fresh. Now, the Supreme Justices, they just, back the president in going against the Constitution by eliminating the birthright citizenship, which is actually in the Constitution. What's really going on here, friends? Pushing us closer and closer, maybe, towards a revolution of some sort? The transits in astrology, the numbers in numerology, it all makes sense what's happening right now, friends. It all makes sense as to where it's going and what's happening. Did you know over the weekend a van exploded in Washington, D.C., and all while the White House is putting up these unusual barricades around D.C.? Unusual only because they're not your typical chain link fence barricades that they usually use. They're much more advanced. I'll tell you about that today. Are they expecting something to happen or to go down this 4th of July weekend that they're barricading the White House in? I certainly feel like something's coming. Apparently, they must feel the same way. We also had all these pelicans falling to the ground deceased in Florida. Some months ago on the coast of Oregon and California. Cattle that are allegedly killed by lightning in Tennessee. Also over there in Nigeria at the same time, interesting enough. Along with that, we see fish that continue to wash ashore in Lima, Peru. Jellyfish washing ashore across the globe. And let us not forget the many different doomsday fish that have washed along the shorelines in the past month and a half, 2 months tops. So is something brewing beneath our oceans? Well, something's brewing. And China, the folks in China are getting flooded like never before. While at the same time, earthquake activity is starting to heighten. There was this massive fireball in the skies here in the United States, seen by people in several states. And soon the sun is going to blast us again with more radiant energy. Interesting times indeed, friends. And speaking of weather, did you see in Florida during the DeSantis press briefing, Florida Congressman Lena Garcia suddenly passes out while discussing putting a stop to weather manipulation? Coincidence, friends? I don't think so. I don't think so. Now remember I warned that people, arsonists to be specifically, would take to the wooded areas. This was even, I believe, in maybe my channel predictions recently. But this goes back at least a month or two ago, where I saw, vigilantes, as Spirit refers to them as, vigilantes that are forming some type of fear attacks in the wooded areas using arson. Well, this just kind of played out down there in Idaho. Crazy thing played out in Idaho, if you're not familiar. And I'll share it with you today, along with how this is really so alarming. Alarming based on, the past predictions and things that I said in the past. It's alarming, friends. And remember my predictions of coming cartel wars? I've been talking about that for a while, a couple years. Cartel wars. I had visions of even military going across the borders towards Mexico to go, unleash something on the cartel. Well, wait until you hear the latest, friends. Because it's definitely appears that that's actually coming. It's coming. And I'll show you the evidence of that today. And it's only July 1st. Just only July 1st, and so much is happening. And so much more, friends, is about to play out in the coming weeks. So get that there tea kettle whistling, friends, because this is episode number 173 of Tuesday's Tittle Tea Time, baby. Welcome aboard, y'all, and a happy month of July 2025 goes out to you, and what an interesting time we are in, huh? This is likely going to be the most intense month of the entire year. And if not, definitely the most intense month of 2025 so far. So if you think June was crazy, it's only going to get crazier, and sometimes crazier in a good way, too. Because that 7 vibration is all about ascension, so it's a good thing. Might not appear about as much as so on the world stage, but it's going to change things. And what plays out in July is going to really determine what happens in August and September. So we got to keep an eye on the events that are taking place across the globe. So much is going on astrologically with the incoming energies and transits. And soon more blasts of energy are going to heighten things even more, make things even more intense, especially when it comes to emotions. So get those emotions in check, friends. Channel your emotions into something positive. We're now in the 7 universal month in numerology, which is a very sacred number and pretty much to all ancient cultures and even the Holy Bible, where the 7 is mentioned more than any other number in the Bible, actually. The number 7 is mentioned the most. And the 7 is all about the 7 days of creation, the 7 seals, the 7 trumpets, the 7 bowls of revelation, and the list goes on and on. So the 7's all about completion. It's all about perfection. And I know we got a lot of perfectionists out there. I got that Virgo sun, so yeah, perfectionism. So that's what the 7's about, perfectionism. This is a time for us to, especially when it comes to actually spiritual perfection, perfecting your practice of meditation, or perfecting whatever spiritual perfection you may need. And you might not even be asking for it, and you may get it anyway. And I cannot stress enough how powerful and how important it is now more than ever to meditate, to pray, and to become more connected to the divine spirit. Dedication and meditation, excuse me. It's dedication and meditation, friends. That's my quote. Not medication. Don't dedicate yourself to that. Definitely don't do that. Dedicate yourself to the meditation. You'll be glad you did. And not only do we have the 7 vibration that's in place this month, which will also increase our intuition and our ability to connect to the divine and to divine spirits, we also have the Cancer season that's in place now, which is also a very, very strong representative of your intuition and, of course, the emotions as well, being more sensitive. So what I love about the 7 energy is that it's notorious for lifting the veil. Lifting the veil and bringing forth that which has been hiding underneath that veil. Or, hiding behind the curtain, as I like to say too. The truths that are uncovered and that are about to be uncovered, that's the 7 vibration. And this works both personally, truths within yourself, your personal life, and of course as the collective. It may be a little uncomfortable for some, that's fine. But remember, this also offers deep healing opportunity, very deep healing opportunity. And I expect this month will blow off the roof when it comes to the amount of whistleblowers that are about to step forward. Leaked documents, we're going to see leaked documents coming to the surface. That, of course, after they're revealed, of course, they'll be completely denied. Oh, they're not real, or they're denied. They deny everything, right? I think that's the government and politicians' middle name, deny. So when it comes to focusing, when it comes to mass media, the lies that spew out of mass media and propaganda, well, it's about time that we see that come out into the open. And even more so, seeing some being held accountable for their lies. We might even see public apologies from the media, apologizing for screwing things up or getting things wrong, or even though they probably do it on purpose, but then they get caught and people start screaming. So that'll be interesting. Big revelations when it comes to the realms of politics, finances, and even in the realm of science. Science, baby. Science. This is a time and this is a month where the public, all of us, are going to start to really demand transparency, especially when it comes to our governments and all those government agencies and organizations. Another really wonderful aspect of us stepping into this seven vibration and universal month in July is the massive spiritual awakenings that are going to come with it. This month, more than ever, friends. This month, more than ever. Events that are about to play out globally that are really meant to open up our eyes, open up our hearts, and open up our minds even wider and wider. This is the month where more folks are going to be pulled to things like spirituality, religion, mystics, and so on, seeking out that spiritual knowledge and wisdom. People are also going to become more interested when it comes to prophecy, predictions. More people are going to get curious when it comes to getting out and exploring new parts of the earth. You might get that desire to go wander through part of the woods or part of the earth that you haven't been to before. New places. It's another thing the seven offers and opens up. So it's like it opens up this portal, this door that will continue in the coming months. So the seven's just the introduction, again, of what's going to play out when we get through August and September. The other thing that we can expect with the seven vibration is even more so when we step into the direct Mercury retrograde on the 18th. Now, we're in the post-shadow as of the 30th of June. Pre-shadow in Leo. But it goes direct on the 18th. And both of these, this along with the 7, is going to bring about all kinds of temporary shutdowns. Don't be trying to get ice cream at that Mickey D's. You shouldn't be going to Mickey D's anyway. Temporary shutdowns, whether it's the ice cream machine or other kinds of government shutdowns, slowdowns, and this is going to also bring cancellations, a lot of airline cancellations, big time, because it affects travel. But the 7 also slows things down. The 7 is telling us to slow down, friends. Slow down. Take it easy. That's what you got to do. We'll see technological glitches and even an array of cyber attacks coming in this month. The 7 is all about awakening. And we can awaken to higher levels of consciousness when the internet's gone. That's when the internet goes out or your cell phone goes out or even when your power goes out. If that actually happens where you are, friends, do not panic. Instead, take it as a sign from the spirits and universe to unplug and just get outside, connect with nature, connect with your neighbors, whatever. It's a sign. Take it as a sign. And we will fortunately witness another stream of deliberate censorship. Probably government censorship. And people actually unplugging from social media platforms like they need to. So there should be a slowdown in social media this month. A pickup and a slowdown, says the spirits. A pickup because of the events that are going to come. People are going to go right to social media. But the slowdown comes in when there's outages of these platforms. Interesting. Outages. Wide array of issues, beginning with outages in some countries, insider hacking that's going to happen, and even whistleblowers coming out with truth around social media platforms and also around artificial intelligence. So that'll be a good one. And there'll be hacks, and they'll tell us it's some kind of glitch with their software updates, but there'll be hacks. There will be hacks. We'll talk about it when they happen. And we'll decipher what is a glitch and what was really an attack. And I feel that we are also going to see types of hidden technologies, like secret powers being revealed during this window of time in July, especially when it comes to military technology, and of course the government, and even religious institutions. So I feel that there's going to be leaks coming in around artificial intelligence and how it controls us. There's going to be leaks coming out about the mass surveillance that's happening and even the digital mind control that's happening. Speaking of mass surveillance, here in Sedona, I'm very disappointed in you people in Sedona here, in my hometown here now. They put license plate readers all throughout Sedona, Arizona. So if you're coming to visit Sedona, Arizona, be careful. They're watching you. They're watching you come in and they're watching you go out. They put them in all places. You can't get in and out of Sedona without your license plate getting read. And I just have a problem with that because I find that to be an invasion of privacy. Like, I don't want you following me and knowing where I go. That's just none of your business. Why? So you could sell my information to someone else? And you know that license plate readers go into a massive database. And I would have never expected, of all places, Sedona to do that. But from what I hear, they are very leftist down there, apparently. I don't know. I don't plug into it. Don't really care. I do care about the license plate readers, though. Not that, again, I'm not doing anything to hide, but I don't want that. I just don't. No, go away. It's ridiculous. You have cameras everywhere. You need license plate readers now to see what every license plate is. Before you know it, if your registration's expired, they'll send you a ticket. If your tags are expired, they'll send you a ticket. So lots of whistleblowing coming out around this stuff. And then the 7-month, remember, we're in the 9-year of endings and death of cycles, and this is all about karma and karmic meaning. Which basically means that we are going to see a lot of karma consequences unfolding around us personally, perhaps in our own lives, but also in the world. You're going to see karma playing out, and this includes good karma too. Good karma, bad karma. This is a time of karmic debt in the month of July, so that should be interesting. Again, both personally and collectively. Now, July is set to be a month of both transformation, lifting those veils and the truths, greater awakenings, karmic debt, and, some type of an event. I feel actually multiple huge major events that are going to add to the energy of this global spiritual event that's about to take place. This global spiritual event is an event that's meant to awaken the masses on a whole nother level. So expect there to be huge scandals around the leaders, politicians, scandals, celebrity scandals, and even around institutions, whether it be a college or whether it be a religious institution, and especially when it comes to law and justice institutions. We're going to see that playing out in July and in August. So lots of injustices becoming justice. So if you want the entire breakdown of the incoming astrology transits and how you can benefit from the incoming transits and the 7 vibration of the month of July, along with some of my very specific predictions for July, be sure to check out my July forecast and predictions that I posted up on Sunday. I will leave a link up above and down below in the description. Once again, a good day to you all, friends. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Joseph Tittel, spiritual medium, aka Spiritman JT. We welcome you with open air hugs. And if you're new here and you want accurate predictions, prophecy, and truth, you want to vibe with our awesome tribe, especially each and every week for the podcast, and smash that there, subscribe. Be sure to hit the bell and the all so that you get notifications, hopefully. Sometimes YouTube isn't always great at notifications. If you don't get one by Wednesday, then go directly to my channel and make sure you're still subscribed, because it's another thing that happens. People mysteriously are not anymore, because I'm here every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on where else in the world you are. I know it's Tuesday for me, Wednesday for folks in Australia and Japan. So, but if I'm not there by then, again, go directly to the channel. It also is a great help when you hit that thumbs up love button. It helps the channel grow. It helps our tribe grow. And it also will show the algorithms you like content like this to show up on your feed. Not just content from this channel, but similar. So be sure to do that. Down below in the description, you'll find the link to the newsletter, which will have all the July newsletter, will have all the astrology and all the past content that you may have missed, because lots of predictions, and if you didn't hear them, you missed a lot. If you missed one video, you missed quite a few predictions for sure. So check out that newsletter. All the other social media platforms down below in the description, including the Subscribe Star Awaken Your Spirit community of supporters who help make this free content possible for everybody else. Along with the members of this community and all the supporters of this channel, I thank you with infinite loving gratitude. Be sure also to be aware of false accounts on social media platforms that pose to be me or even other people, and message you requesting money or telling you they got a message for you or some other kind of BS, and that's exactly what it is, friends, a scam. So that is not me. Report those profiles immediately. Let us move on to episode 173. Well, friends, here in the United States of America, millions are setting out on the roads this coming weekend and into the air as well to travel for the celebration of our independence. So let's hope it's not the last time that we are celebrating our independence. Because as we now see, the Constitution is being challenged or, flat out ignored by our Supreme Justices, which is really interesting. Then we have the same transits happening astrologically in United States chart that happened the same time as the Constitution was signed and declared. Same time as the Civil War as well. No coincidences there, friends. We see how those alignments are in place now. We could see it playing out in some way on the stage, the stage of America anyway. Now, the July 4th celebration across America may have more than just fireworks and our skies exploding. I hope not, but it may be. We could very well see many things going haywire beginning on July 4th and throughout the entire weekend. This weekend, friends, feels pretty intense to me. I don't know if you're getting that same feeling. I've been getting it for months, actually. I've been talking about July 4th for a while. And maybe not this one, maybe not next one. Hopefully never. But the transit, we also have actually the transit in place that points to water events. At the same time, this coming weekend, actually, I believe that's, the 4th and the 7th, both. Which can likely determine, the coming tsunamis that I saw in visions going back several years ago. Transits in United States chart, again, last occurred during the Civil War and the Declaration of Independence. So this is very interesting, friends. Very interesting alignments and things that are going on right now. Right now and coming up in the coming week, just in the coming next 7 days, actually. So this clearly shows that everything is changing. And everything is about to change even more so in dramatic ways in the coming months. Before you know it, the administration might even propose a new constitution. I know it sounds crazy. You heard it here first. But don't be surprised. Just don't be surprised. Don't even be surprised if they say we're going to use AI to create a new constitution. Or they'll say they didn't have AI do it. It would not surprise me. It should not surprise you either. It's just a thought that popped in my head today. And when them thoughts pop in my head, you're usually the most accurate thoughts. Interesting. So July 4th is huge, friends. It's huge. Not just for America, but for the entire world based on the energies and the transits that kick in on July 4th. And I feel this is a sure sign that major events are going to play out this weekend. And if not this weekend, then definitely sometime in this month of July for sure. And July is literally the stepping stone as to what we can expect to play out in August and September. It's very significant. Now, August is the 8 vibration of money and finances, and then September is the double nines. Talk about some big endings happening. September be a good one for that. Hopefully the endings to the conflicts. So we got to watch really closely. Don't react. Remember, don't react. Just observe. Stay in your heart space. And I just feel that whatever's coming, it's going to affect millions of people in several different ways. So I say hold the planet, not just one person or one place, but hold the entire planet and all of humanity in the light. Because we need it now more than ever, friends. But remember, this too shall pass. I assure you, and when it does, it will lead us to an amazing new future. We just have to go through these very, very challenging times that are ahead before we fly out of the ashes and become reborn as a whole new, amazing vibrational level. I look forward to it. Embrace it. Again, don't plug into the chaos. Observe it. Instead, sit back and just watch. It's all just a show anyway. Now, the United States seems to be going backwards or maybe forwards into this fascist, totalitarian utopia for the billionaires club and their friends in politics. The big, beautiful bill just seems not as beautiful as they want us to make it think. That's probably why they called it big and beautiful. Yeah, it's so big it'd take you friggin' 3 days just to read through it all. Yeah, that's how they do it. They write things so long, this thick of pages, like a book, to make you have to read through it. Most people aren't going to read through it all. That's the thing. So, and it's all really the puppeteers at the top that are really controlling everything. There are puppeteers at the top of it all. They fund all the conflicts, the big bankers and all that. And it's not conspiracy anymore. We all know it's true. So did you know that they proposed this bill of selling off millions of acres of United States land for land development, for housing? Because we need housing so bad. That's all I'm going to say. I was going to say something about bite my tongue. So thankfully, I heard this morning that this part of the bill was actually pushed out, as it should totally be pushed out. It's not the end, though, friends. You think they're gonna? It's not. They're gonna keep trying to push it and sell it. Remember back in the Obama administration, Obama sold off our land. Some of it was national park land, and they probably scrubbed the internet. You probably can't find it now, but he did. That's a fact. Some of it to China, just like all the farmland that's going to China. Interesting. You know what? Another interesting thing in this just popped in my brain. The land that Gates is buying, especially in the United States, the farmland. And we know it's like to take control over the farms and the food. But you know what's beneath all those lands that he owns? I just discovered, I find this interesting, big aquifers. Giant aquifers, including the one where he owns 270,000 acres just here in Arizona alone. Over big aquifers. Talk about finding a way to privatize your water and take control over your water. Interesting. So anyway, that bill about buying our land was pushed out of the bill. So they told us anyway. So they told us, perhaps the direction that they're going, it could show back up in another bill. See, that's what they do. They will likely sneak it back in when we're all too busy looking in one direction or another direction, perhaps the direction of their coming flags that fly ever so falsely. While you're looking over here, they're over here sneaking their stuff in. Government does it all the time. Never trust them. Never, never, never. And to those greedy, ignorant politicians who propose to sell the land off to developers so that they can likely pocket more of our own money, I remind you of the song that was sung, that we sung every day in elementary school, actually, or at least sung it often in elementary school. I maybe even in a chorus. It was a song written in 1940 by Woody Guthrie. You remember that song? This land is my land, this land is your land, from California to the New York Islands. This land was made for you and me, not for you to turn around and sell on us and give away and take over and privatize everything. Yeah. Likely to foreign countries or people like Gates and friends. So let's hold in the light, friends, that bill proposal, that part of the bill proposal is dead to the world. Gone. Not happening. Not happening. And in my opinion, it would make even more sense to fix the broken land and buildings across our countries, not just the United States, other countries too, instead of raiding and destroying the homes of many little animals and wildlife. Why do you have to destroy the forest when we have so many abandoned towns? There's like literally abandoned towns here and in other countries too. Thousands of abandoned buildings in each city. I mean, thousands in each city. Abandoned buildings, office buildings that remain completely empty, and the list just goes on and on. So why don't you go in there and develop and put housing in those places? Instead of destroying land, when we already destroyed land, use the land you already screwed up. Drives me insane, friends. These people, this matrix. Now, the Supreme Court justices backed the president in going against the Constitution by eliminating birthright citizenship. And save your comments, it is in the Constitution. And what is really, really going on here, friends? That should be the question. What's really going on here? Some of those ICE agents appear to be crossing the line and being somewhat violent in their arrest attempts. And some of them aren't even ICE agents, they're bounty hunters. Did you hear about that? And some of them being paid per head, $1,000 per head. You can validate that and look that up for yourself. It is true. What state was it? Minnesota, Missouri, one of those states. For sure. Because I looked it up. I did my fact checking. The ones usually wearing the masks are the ones that aren't. They're the actual usual bounty hunters. It's crazy. I understand you got a job to do, but you paid the people to come in. You put them up in hotels, gave them credit cards, thousands and thousands of dollars per person. And now we got to pay to get rid of them? I'm sorry, there's something really wrong with this picture, friends. There's something really wrong with this picture. It's just wild. And again, don't plug into the chaos of it. Just sit back and observe. And plugging into the chaos is rebuting comments or being nasty in the comments or what have you. Just sit back and observe. It's better to just watch the show play out. Much better. And then we could talk about it and kind of laugh about it at the same time. Even though it's not really a laughable situation, but sometimes you just got to make the best out of the humor of life. And they're pushing us closer and closer to a revolution at the same time, by the way. That seems, and remember the transits that are happening in the United States chart this year. So can't stress that things are about to change big time, big time. And remember, in past predictions, I saw major controversy and protests around the Supreme Court and other justices. And it was perhaps maybe a year ago, maybe a little bit longer. I lose track, but I saw two justices leaving their seats. Remember that prediction? Some of you may, if you've been following me long enough. So perhaps they're going to be pushed out. Perhaps. Or recently, I also warned about attacks and attempts to harm justices and folks in political positions, and even CEOs. And I said that before the whole Brian Thompson thing happened. Well, it's coming again. July is a big month for this. And we also saw it just a few weeks ago with the couples that were on Alive, I think in Minnesota, the Congress people. I think it was Minnesota, but maybe I just got Minnesota in my brain. But hang on tight, friends, because it's going to get real. And y'all people, you're going to see people like losing their minds, unfortunately. The emotions and the energy is coming in. And then you'll see people trying to take the law into their own hands. All while folks revolt against the government policies and legislations that continue to strip away people's rights in this country and many others. Wait until the massive protests start. What we just saw was nothing. A month ago or in the past, that's nothing compared to. Did you see was it Kenya? Did you see the massive protests in Kenya? I mean, like massive protests in Kenya. You go, folks, fighting for their rights, fighting to take down the evil regimes. Because they all are. All governments, we need to start all over. We need a fresh start. And we don't need the new world order start. We don't want that. But we do need a new start. We need to do things completely different. And for this country, it'll take a decade or two to fix the corruption that's within our government. Like at least a decade or two. So this is really a big, big true awakening that's happening. Because this has been happening to us for generations. With the corruption. And this is, our grandparents went through it and parents, and they were blind to it all. We're not blind anymore. People see now. They fell for it all. We're not falling for it anymore. That is the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening is going to get even greater. And time is approaching for all of this, all of these people to come to a dead stop. Can't wait. Did y'all see over the weekend that van that exploded in Washington, D.C.? Yes. An Amazon van, I believe it was. And here's some of the footage of the blaze of the fire that's happened. I mean, quite a big fire there. And this was a huge explosion, they say. And then there was another huge explosion in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, my hometown, nearest city to my hometown anyway. Is this all coincidence, friends? Is this a coincidence in a truck exploding? No, I mean, it's possible if it was an Amazon truck that it was some kind of EV battery. Probably was, actually. But could it also just be a little bit of a sign? Signs come to us from the universe in all angles. And people don't see the signs all around them. The signs from your loved ones in spirit, they send us signs. The simple thought that pops up in your mind of someone, deceased that you haven't, thought of in a while. You get the goosey bumps and hair stands up on your neck. That's because they're right there at that moment in time. See, intuitively, we know. That's why we think of it. Or, when you think of somebody and they suddenly call you, right? Or you call them. They're like, oh, I was just thinking about you. Yeah, so we're all connected in these different forms and different methods. It's kind of really amazing. It's an amazing, amazing time. Remember, our parents and all were fast asleep. Some of them still are fast asleep. No coincidence, again, of things exploding in Washington, D.C. And no coincidence that the White House is putting up unusual barricades all around Washington, D.C. Unusual only because, it's not unusual. The Biden administration did it. They do it all the time, so it's not unusual. What's unusual about it is the type of border that they're using. Check this out and look really closely. Does that not resemble the exact stuff they used for the southern border wall? It sure in the heck does. Now here's another picture. This one just shows the anti-scale barricade article in front of the White House. Anti-scale means that, people aren't supposed to be able to climb up it. Let me tell you, if someone wants to get through, though, they can get through. If there's someone there to stop them. So are they expecting something to come this July 4th weekend? Likely there's probably some more of those No King protests happening. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it, but likely. Or maybe they're expecting something. I don't know. But steel, Steel barricades, it's a little different than just a little chain link fence that they usually use, or the other things that they use, the other barricades they use. Very, very different, friends. And I certainly feel that something's coming. And apparently they do as well. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, I recall years ago talking about the dangers of July 4th in the United States. I forgot all about it. It just came to me. I did videos on it. I'll have to go back and look at those videos and see what I said. And feeling that something big was going to happen on July 4th in the United States. Some of the things I say take 2 to 4 years before they end up playing out. And that was could have been 3 or 4 years ago. That could have been 2021, 2020. Somewhere around that. I lose track. I talk a lot. Can't remember everything in the timeline, but maybe somebody else in the comments will know the timeline and the timestamp. But I started talking about it many years ago. So is that about to play out? I really hope not. I don't want to see anything bad happen in my country or anybody's country for that matter. A friend gave me a good thought on this, though. Perhaps back when I picked this up, the deep staters or whoever it is were actually planning the agenda of the attack. And that's what I was picking up on. And that could make a lot of sense. Because it's the same friend. We were talking about the Hoover Dam and our feelings, and he had dreams about it, and then my feelings and predictions. That we were just talking about this a couple weeks ago. That perhaps we were actually tuning into them planning, and they take years to plan their little crazy things out. And that makes so much more sense, don't it? That would be what we're picking up on, them planning it, and that's why it takes years for it to play out. Just a thought that makes a lot of sense. Now think about this, friends. Besides the date used in 2001, you remember that date, what other date would be most significant to America and Americans? Our freedom and our independence would be my first thought. Something the deep staters do not want us to have. That's what they want to strip us from. So July 4th, the same date that they signed the Declaration of Independence, I feel would be the most significant date to attack innocent Americans. And force the United States, of course, into another conflict that we don't need to go into. And I hope this is not at all the case. I really, really don't. So let's hold in the light, friends. The entire date, the 4th of July, the entire planet, the whole weekend, because we're going to need it this coming weekend. We definitely need the prayers and the light on the entire earth. We had pelicans falling to the ground, deceased in Florida. The same thing happened actually a while back on the coast of Oregon and California. Cattle allegedly killed by lightning in Tennessee, and then also over there in Nigeria. Along with fish that continue to wash ashore in Lima, Peru. And I tried to find articles on it. I could find nothing. But according to people in Peru, they were telling me in the comments. We have jellyfish washing across the shore all over the globe. I forget where one of them was in the comments, too. Someone said maybe the UK or somewhere over there with the jellyfish. Now, I know in the Jersey Shore, when I was younger, jellyfish, especially wildwood, would wash on the beaches. And that would usually happen in August when the water was really warm. And that would be the cause of jellyfish washing up. Warm waters, they come inland or something. Same with sharks. They come inland when the waters are warm. So I'm not sure. But it's still strange. Regardless, it's still very, very strange. And we can't forget the doomsday fish. There was, at least 3 or 4 that washed up in the past 2 months in different places. Japan, down at the Baja Peninsula in Mexico. And I forget where the other ones were, but there were quite a few that washed up the shores. Quite a few. And we know the story and the legends of the doomsday fish. And it's one thing to have one wash up, but to have all those wash up within a short period of time, I don't believe in coincidences. You shouldn't either, friends. You shouldn't either. But who am I to tell you what you should or shouldn't do? So is something brewing beneath our oceans? Absolutely. No doubt, friends. No doubt there is. And they're also doing underwater mining. They're doing crap under that ocean that we're not aware of. Not to mention, you remember Catherine Fitzgerald, is that what was her name? Who was in the Bush administration, who talked about the trillions of dollars spent for the underground cities and the ones that are under the ocean too. So yeah, they're doing stuff under them oceans. It's likely may backfire on them in the very near future. So something, and I began pointing to these areas on the map in my map scrying weather videos and seeing visions at least 2 years or longer ago. And I feel that that time in those areas I pointed to is quickly approaching. A time where we are about to witness huge shifts in the Earth's plates. Sudden random storms and floods. Maybe even a reactivation of the New Madrid Fault, which was in my predictions last year. That was going to happen along the Mississippi eventually. Could that play out before the year ends? Wouldn't surprise me. And if not, again, between now and 2029 was the window of major Earth events, especially 2029. That's going to be a huge one. So I warned that China would be hit really hard by Mother Earth with earthquakes and record-breaking floods. And I feel part of China will experience some type of blows in the near future when it comes to the tsunamis. So part of the coast of China will be affected by tsunamis. And right now, check this out. China is getting flooded like never before. This footage from China and the severe flooding submerging an entire province underwater completely. And you know, that was just right before that, Wuhan, China was completely pretty much underwater. And there was also just a huge dam that bust in China. A huge dam completely burst at the seams in China, sending water rushing everywhere due to storms. And that was something that was in past predictions. The busting of dams due to storms, earthquake, and then one being blown up, if you recall. Let's hope not, but let's hope not this weekend. Let's hope not the Hoover or any dam on that, for that matter. So yeah, Japan stepping, entire province. And this is just the beginning, friends. This is just the beginning of us stepping into deep waters. We've been in the shallow part of the swimming pool for a while, but we're getting out and about to take the big jump into the deep waters. It's about how July and August is going to play out. Now, earthquake activity is heightening. And you may find this interesting. I thought it was interesting. I looked at the earthquake map this morning, and I'm filming this at 5:43 p.m. on Monday evening from beautiful Sedona, Arizona, right there, right in front of my house. So I looked maybe an hour or two, so like 4 o'clock Monday, at the earthquake map, and I looked at the past 7 days and the 2.5 or higher earthquakes. And I noticed the number of earthquakes in the past week were 333. I thought that was pretty wild. I was like, oh, wow, a master number, 333. That adds up to the 9 universal year that we're in. That we're bathing in that 9 year. It's just a thought, friends. I just thought it was interesting. I'm not saying there's anything to it. I just thought it was interesting. But not as interesting as this, though. Look at the earthquake map and check out Japan and the 2 little yellow dots towards the lower right out there in the Pacific. See where I'm talking about? So that is the exact line that I pointed to multiple times in several map scrying sessions and weather videos. That is the same area where I felt the huge explosion would come from, unleash major tsunamis from beneath the Pacific. That was the area. Now, I haven't monitored that area a whole lot, so I don't know if that's usual for there to be earthquakes right there. I have no idea, but when I pulled up the map, yeah, there's earthquakes right there. I thought that was a little unusual. I mean, for me anyway. I don't know if it is unusual, but it seemed unusual. So we got to watch that area very, very closely, friends, very closely. Now, I have a friend down there in Hiroshima who says that they've been getting tons of earthquakes, something like hundreds of little earthquakes. I wasn't able to validate that on the earthquake map, but they are getting a lot all around Japan, all around. And I also wanted to mention in these crazy times about the crazy waves. I told you that we would see all kinds of different types of crazy waves, rogue waves, sudden storm surges, and tsunamis. All separate things, by the way. All separate things. All very completely separate things. Well, did you see what just played out at Lake Tahoe, causing boats to crash upon the shores, piling up on one another? Sudden storm surge, or I don't even know what you would call it, but it was crazy indeed. This also aligns with what I stated, that I would see random waves. Again, rogue waves, storm surges, tsunamis, and I warned about boats, ships, and anything and everything that goes on the water or in the water. We saw the ferry flip over in New York, a week or so ago. So it's happening with the water, friends. It's happening. So be safe out there. And I know a lot of you folks, especially here in the United States, are going to be heading and taking to the waters this weekend. And actually, the whole northern hemisphere, because it's so damn hot in the northern hemisphere right now, you're going to be taken to the waters this weekend. So just please be safe while you're out there. Be safe, be mindful. As my father would always say when you're driving your car, it's not yourself you need to worry about. It's the other ones you need to worry about running into you, right? So it's not you running into someone else. You got to watch out for them running into you. So just be careful when you're out on the waters. Spirit has been telling us to keep our eyes to the skies for quite some time, especially July. That's a big part of the predictions for July. July is going to be off the charts when it comes to our skies. And I do believe, I don't know if I said this in my July forecast, this specific thing, but I do feel that we are going to see several incidents around planes that suddenly just decide to fall from the skies. Planes that fall from the skies. Now, we saw that happen before when I predicted that, but I saw it happening again in a vision this morning, actually. The 7 vibration rolls over the elements and also the sky. So, got to keep to the sky. And we weren't even in July yet before people began to see this massive fireball in the sky, seen by folks in several states here in the United States. Some of the footage you see here where basically it's a flaming ball falling from the sky, which, now since has been determined to be a meteor that folks say, meteorologists, somebody said it was a meteor, whereas previously they said it fallen space junk. Not like a fireball like that, So a meteor makes sense. And, people nearby said that they felt the earth shake afterwards, like a small earthquake. So meteor makes sense. It makes total sense because this goes back to my past predictions again. I believe maybe May, can't remember, but it was recent, wasn't that long ago, where I stated that we would see meteors making it through the atmosphere instead of completely burning up like they usually do and hitting the earth. So bigger ones than normal. That's why they don't burn up, I would assume. And we're going to see many more of these in the very near future. One I see hitting a structure or a building. Another coming closer, hitting a parked vehicle. And I see and feel that when we reach the year again, 2029, things falling from the sky is going to be quite a bit of a problem. Quite a bit of a problem for a short window of time, according to the spirits. But hey, 2029, we're 4 years off from that. So let's get through 2025 first. Things from space hitting the earth, though. Things from space hitting the earth. Now in July and also 2029. Soon, the sun, the beautiful sun, is about to blast us again. And, even though the sun has been blasting us quite a bit in many ways for the past few weeks now, Spirit shows me that there's going to be an extreme heightening of solar activity in this coming week and throughout the month of July. July could very well be a month of solar maximum for 2025. It's going to get even more in 2026, but again, let's stick with 2025 right now. This could make sense to the incoming Earth shifts, accompanied by quakes and tsunamis. So we need to watch the sun very, very closely, friends, very closely in the coming days and over this weekend, mainly the coming days. Watch the sun, watch the earthquakes in certain areas. The small quakes can eventually turn to very, very big quakes. And this can also determine exactly when and perhaps where the big quakes are actually going to hit. If we know some flares are hitting at a certain time, that could mean a lot. Remember last week? I believe it was last week. Before last week's show, so a week and a half ago. The solar flares that hit, big ones that hit, when they hit the earth, they were directed right at the Pacific Ocean in Hawaii. Hawaii, right above Hawaii and between Hawaii and Japan. That same exact area. So is the sun activating something beneath the ocean? I mean, this Earth and the solar system is very complex. It could very well be. So we have to keep an eye on those. And maybe this can be an indicator of a future area that's about to shake. Speaking of weather, did you see in Florida, during a DeSantis press briefing, Florida Congresswoman Lena Garcia suddenly passed out? What makes this really interesting is it was while she was discussing them putting a complete stop to the weather manipulation that's happening. Coincidence? I doubt it, friends. I doubt it. Check out this clip.
So it is a truly significant day for the state of Florida when we are taking decisive action to protect our skies, our environment, and the well-being of all Floridians. I want to express my deepest gratitude to Governor DeSantis for his unwavering support and leadership in helping this happen. Senate Bill 56, very shortly a reality. This landmark legislation sends a clear message. Florida will not stand by while unregulated activities threaten the delicate balance of our atmosphere, and there will be harsh consequences for those who do. So, Governor, forgive me, I've got to sit down because I am not feeling well.
Hey, we got you. Would you bring it up? We got you. Sugar? Yeah. Sugar? Yeah, see, we have sugar. Do we have water? I don't. Water? I don't.
Strange, huh, friends? She got up a few minutes later, and I don't know how many minutes later, but she got up a little bit later and she finished her speech. But how very strange is that? What I thought was really strange is it was as soon as she said, there will be harsh consequences for those who do so. And then down she went. Almost if it was perfectly timed. Like, oh, you're not saying no more. Stopping you in your tracks. Could this be the Havana syndrome? Are you familiar with the Havana syndrome? If not, go look it up. Go down that little rabbit hole. It may very well be, friends. It may very well be. And this is why I say so. Because Spirit says the attacks that are coming and happening on leaders, politicians, and others are not always going to be visible attacks. Visible attacks mean something we can identify, right? So you can take that for what it's worth, friends. That's just what the Spirit's told me. And I want to know what you think in the comments down below. Do you recall that just recently I warned that people, arsonist kind of people that like to set things on fire, like Beavis and Butthead, fire. Anyway, sometimes I can't help myself. Remember I told you that they would take to wooded areas, and Spirit referred to them as vigilantes, posing some type of fear attacks against several countries, not just the United States. Well, did you see what just went down in Idaho, friends? Hey ho, it happened in Idaho. Oh, baby. Talk about cray-cray? Yeah. Apparently, a crazed individual not only began setting the forest on fire, he did it as an ambush to ambush firefighters and law enforcement. I believe there were 2 firefighters that were sadly unalive from this incident and sent to the pearly gates of heaven. Not cool. That is just crazy. And if this is not a sign, friends, for what is to come and what's happening behind the curtain, then I don't know what is. That's just cray-cray. Now, I saw this in channeled predictions and in other visions where I warned that not that long ago that the evildoers were going to be sent to purposely ignite forest land. Or the evildoers will send people to purposely light the forest land as a part of fear attacks on our country and to cause chaos. Remember, order out of chaos is what they want. Insane. We got a bunch of psychopaths running this world, I'll tell you. That think they're running this world. We should put it that way. They think they are. Nobody runs this world but the divine creator themselves and Mother Earth herself. So I believe some of these groups that are actually hiding in the forest is what I felt. Like this person's probably part of a group and they're hiding out in the forest. And then remember, Spirit showed me there's those that are hiding in the subway system, underneath the subways. Now, someone was just telling me about New York City and how their underground subway has a whole city under there, like a vacant city. So it would make sense that somebody could set up something down there, right? Set something up. New York City, and I feel really strongly, I believe that New York City and Long Island are both very huge targets for these evildoer deep staters. Honestly, at this moment, that subway is not feeling very safe to me in New York. Not feeling very safe. I kind of went there in my mind, and it just felt bad vibes. which I would believe indicates that something's going down in the New York subway system, perhaps just within the next month. Do you recall my prediction and visions about coming cartel wars? Most of you should remember, we've talked about it many, many times, and I've even had visions of major cartel wars. I saw visions of conflict on our borders, the southern borders of the United States, especially within and around Texas. I saw a vision of military flying over the border on a mission that felt to me that they were going on a mission to attack cartel in some type of coming cartel conflict. Well, check this out, friends. And this goes back a couple years ago, at least, that I was picking up on coming cartel wars. Well, this is really interesting because this, to me, confirms, in my opinion, that this past prediction, which again goes back several years, is likely going to be playing out behind the scenes. It's already playing out behind the scenes. Let me rephrase that. Already playing out behind the scenes. We just don't see it yet. So give a listen to what President Trump just had to say on this matter. This is very interesting, friends. Give a listen.
Mexico is saying that I offered to send U.S. troops into Mexico to take care of the cartel. She wants to know, is that true? Do you think I'm going to answer that question?
That's why I'm asking. We'll see.
I will answer it. It's true.
And why would you do that?
Because they are horrible people that have been killing people left and right, they've made a fortune on selling drugs and destroying our people. We lost 300,000 people last year to fentanyl and drugs. They're bad news. Yeah, that's true. If Mexico wanted help with the cartels, we would be honored to go in and do it.
Well, friends, it appears that they're already discussing this fact of a conflict and launching a conflict against the cartel, which really would be nice, actually, to see our government actually go out and take action against something that is truly down to the core evil. So let's see how it pans out, and let's hope for the best, because that's what we need. Take out the big evil doers, and we know the cartel is a big part of it. But wait, what are they going to do about all the politicians that are wrapped into that web of darkness called the cartel? Going to be interesting. Interesting times ahead, friends. Interesting times ahead. A few other things to note as far as coming predictions in July. The energies that are coming in are really going to rile folks up, friends. And it can be very sensitive. People can be very sensitive in the month of July. Very easily triggered. Bringing more focus and incidents around mental illness. So this will likely unleash angry crowds in many cities across the globe. Angry crowds. What are they angry at? I don't know, but we'll find out. And this summer is likely to go down as the summer with the largest amount of uprisings, protests, and unfortunate violence accompanied with it. Riots, so forth. The 9 vibration would make sense to that too. Bringing things to an end. And how do we do that? We come together in the streets and demand change. And demand transparency. And demand goodness for all. So, and as I've been warning for some time now, to be mindful when you're out and about around crowds, and especially near roadways and roadsides. We are going to see many more uses of vehicles as weapons in July and early August. And I feel now the threat's going to move into vehicles that suddenly explode. Not good. And I see more hits coming to Germany, here in the United States, United Kingdom, and several other countries. Not good. So be aware when you're near those roadsides. Stay away from crowds that are near roadsides. And just stay away from roadsides anyway. You should always be mindful when you're on a roadside. Because you just never know. I also feel that this could be connected to my predictions and visions and feelings that there's going to be simultaneous attacks that occur. I've been getting this for a few years as well. And I feel like this year everything seems to be playing out already. So if we go back 2 to 3 years ago. And I'm not saying this is happening in July. It could actually play out this weekend. It's very, very possible. But it also could play out the very latter part of this year, around November, December, right around the holidays time. So I also feel that we are going to see the use of vests, people that wear vests that are made of explosives, crazed individuals, using them on themselves and, running into crowds of people. So got to be aware of that too. The one vision I had of that today, a guy was yelling in a Middle Eastern accent, so If you hear somebody yelling like that, run the opposite direction as quick as possible. Or you see any crazed person doing anything crazy, run in the opposite direction as fast as possible, friends. I also feel like something is happening around both the waters and some type of water incidents and accidents in Italy. Italy came to me really strongly. First, something around Venice, around the waters, perhaps polluted in some way, maybe something getting dumped in there, I'm not sure. Along with flooding events all throughout Italy. France, too. France is going to get a lot of that. More towards the latter part of the summer for France. Now, also in Italy, I see some type of big accident around several boats or ships. Something's going on with boats or ships or something big. I don't know if they have a boat race there or something like that going on. I'm not sure, but that was my feeling for there. And if you all think that conflict is done in the Middle East, is over, think again. Because Netanyahu is continuing to bomb Gaza. Trump cries, stop, 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 and he keeps going, harming more innocent people and taking more out of the equation. And they keep going back and forth with Iran, back and forth on their word as well, as the United States continues to send more and more aid in their direction. Perhaps they ran low on missiles. Maybe that's why they paused the conflict. So they can gather things together. Being he's getting more missiles, sure. Continue to bomb Gaza, sure. Don't stop anything. Continue. Crazy. I don't like conflict. Everybody should get along. Just everybody should get along. And what I can tell you is, as Spirit has been telling us for quite some time now, that the deep staters want to fly a flag ever so falsely to push us into another costly conflict. And I truly believe that the president wants peace. But also, as I said in the past, it's not necessarily at all the president. It's actually those that surround him and influence his decisions. I mean, look at Biden. Biden was never the president. It was those that influenced him and influenced all the decisions. It was those that surrounded him that basically took Biden out of the equation completely. They really did. So the same thing's going on. It's the people that are around him that are even more fearful, the neocons and the warmongers and so forth. I do believe he wants peace. I don't think he's going to get it anytime soon, but I do believe he wants peace. But I also believe, and I feel very strongly, that these evildoers are posing some type of fake attack on innocent Americans. And that would be enough to anger folks and maybe even the president enough for making less than smart decisions to begin another conflict. Not only that, they'll find other excuses to go in. Oh, my ear's itching like crazy. I think I got bit by something. Ow. They'll find an excuse to go back in to Iran. You guarantee you. I told you, that is not over yet. Not over. I expect big escalations in both the Middle East and in Europe in July and early August. I expect to see the use of a weapon that we likely do not even know exists until it's used. And I feel strongly that attacks on innocent people are going to heighten. As hard as it is to say, I speak only the truth, friends, of what I see and what I hear from the spirits. And I feel, and what I feel deep down inside. And I just feel like this is the case. Not to be a doomer or gloomer, but I'm just telling you the way it is. And that's why I tell you, don't plug into the chaos. Sit back and observe. Take time for yourself. Take time to meditate. Remember, this is a month to tap very, very deeply into your own intuition and tap into your heart energy. And remember, again, friends, unplug from any of the coming chaos and take some downtime in the month of July. Go hang out with the trees. Go hug a tree. Go talk to a tree. You might actually receive an answer if you listen closely enough. But unplug, friends. Take time to ground yourself. Take some time to connect with Mother Earth and take some time to just breathe and enjoy life. Because life is what we make it. And make it as beautiful as you possibly can. Well, friends and beautiful tribe, that's what I have for you for today. I just put out a full July forecast, an hour and 15 minutes and predictions just the other day. Be sure to check that video out. Again, a link will pop up below. Probably already popped up. But down below in the description, you can find the links to recommended videos as well. I will also be pushing to get another video out by Thursday of specifically predictions because there's so much going on in July. I feel like I need to sit down and just do a whole list of predictions, even if it's just a half hour long or what have you. So keep an eye out for that as well. And please do give me a thumbs up, love button. Click that love button so that we get this out to more people. Share it on your social media platforms. Sharing is caring, and I know you care. Other than that, friends, also thank you to all the supporters who make this free content possible for everybody else. And friends, I will see you in the future. But until then, remember to be bold, be true, be kind, be you. Let your light shine ever so brightly. And have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste. And much love, friends. Much love.